Yeah, so I'm going to be showing you guys how you guys can use the app Over, which is on your phone. It looks like this. It's an O, a yellow background with an O in the middle. And basically what Over is an app that you can utilize to be able to create your own stories, advertisements, create product posts, opportunity posts, just make something pretty so that you can put it on your stories, or even if you just want to do a cute little background for something for host to post, anything like that for as an example. So when you open up the app, this is what it looks like. This is the Discover page, and basically this is just an area where they're going to be sending you what's new with the app. So even if you click on some of them, if like for example, if you click on this one is just like a whole bunch of information, but some of them do allow you to be able to use some of those templates. Like for example, this one, if you just click on it, like if you were to click on this one, you can use this template as your own. You can edit the words, edit the quote, change the background, change anything you want to it. And to do that, you just basically click on it and then you would be able to change it. Now, I'm just showing you this template just because I did want to use it as an example. As you can tell, the dimensions of this one is just like a square. Sometimes when you download a template that they already have, the dimensions of it, I personally like it to be long so that it's like an iPhone wallpaper, so that I know that when I upload it into my story, it's going to take the entire image. So in order to change something like that, you would click on this overlay button, and then this little dimension here it's showing you what the dimension is on this one, and it's a custom. So you're going to slide it until you get to the one that has an iPhone wallpaper image, and then you see how it just changed the dimension to something long. And that way when you upload it into Instagram, it's going to be a long picture versus it being just a square right in the center. So that was just something that I wanted to share, that I can also break it down in another template. So when you're looking here, there is another section that says template, and all of these are different templates that the Over has that you can utilize. If you have the free version, you're going to notice on the bottom right hand section, it says Pro. So you're not going to be able to use those unless you pay. Once you pay, then you have access to everything. But even the free version does have some of them that you can use. So as you're scrolling through, if there's something that you like, you can press the plus sign. You can press the plus sign and it'll allow you to save it into your collected album, which is all the way up here, this yellow album right here. And that just has different images that you might have seen along the way that you liked, and then you just saved it in this folder. I recommend that if you do find something that you're interested in, that like let's say you liked a specific template, that you save it, because they keep just adding new ones and it's really hard to find old ones that you might have liked. So I'm going to show you guys an example. Like once you have a template that you have in mind, let's say I wanted to do this summer one. This is a summer invitation. It has nothing to do with the business. So I'm going to make this into a business post. So in order to edit these, you would just like the font or the text or anything. If you single click it, it'll give you all these options where you can either edit or change text. If you double tap and double tap again, it'll give you the option to change the text as well. So let's say I change this summer to now hiring. After I have typed it, you press this yellow check mark and then it'll change it. Other things that you can do is change the font by sliding around, and that you can mess around with that. Other things that you can do with the template is that you can remove things. So like let's say I wanted to remove, another thing is after you have edited something and you like the way that it looks, then you can go and press this yellow check mark here. And pressing the yellow check mark just basically approves any edits that you're doing. You can't really move forward unless you press that yellow check mark. That's just basically saying, okay, yes, I okayed it and it looks good. That's where I want it, blah, blah, blah. So that's just something that you're going to have to kind of always do. So to delete, you can just tap it and then you can delete it, and it'll remove it. If you accidentally delete something and need it back, you can press the undo button up top. You can also duplicate it, meaning if you tap it and press duplicate, it's going to create the same thing twice. And then of course you can undo it up top. This little stackable area here is really useful because it's showing you everything that is on this actual template. And if you notice, some of them are locked, like right here. I believe on the free version, you can't really do anything with it. But if you do have the pro version, if you single click it, it'll unlock that option for you. And then if you hold it down, you can go ahead and lock it again. What is this lock? If you guys don't know what this is, I'm about to blow your mind, okay? So something that is very annoying with Over sometimes is that as you're tapping on something, you can accidentally tap something else. And if you're trying to resize or trying to relocate, you're accidentally tapping the wrong thing. So once you have like for example, this now hiring section, I know that's exactly where I want it. I don't want it moved. I don't want to resize. I don't want it anywhere else except there. So when you go into this section, if you hold down the now hiring and then you lock it, it's not going to allow you to move it or tap it or do anything with it. So now when I tap it, like I can't accidentally move it. I can't accidentally edit it. I can't accidentally change the text. I can't resize it or anything, which is so convenient because of the fact when you're overing or overlaying all of these things, sometimes they get in the way and then you can't, like, it's just so hard to be going back and forth. So that's just something that I wanted to share with you guys. Now, let's say I wanted to add an image to this picture. You just select the image and it'll automatically link to your photos. So I'm going to look for a, let me just look for a picture of something that I can add. So this is my son. We went to Famous Dave's and they gave him a little hat. So this is just a little picture. So to add it, I obviously selected photo image and then I selected an image. And then now I am just going to put it wherever I want on my actual template. Things that you can do with it is down here. Under filters, you can change the filter or the color. Under adjust, you can change, like if you manually want to change the filter. You can crop it, you can resize it, you can shadow. The opacity is pretty neat because you can make it blurred out. So that way, if you want to put text over it, the background is blurred out, which is really nice. An example of that I can show you is one that I did. I have to find the album. One that I did that I blurred out the front part and then I was able to add text over it and it looked really nice. So this was the original, the now hiring. And then I blurred it out, the picture, and I was able to put text on top of it. So that is just what the opacity is. You can tint it. You can basically do whatever you want with it. And then once you've already edited the image how you want it, again, you press the yellow check mark and then that's done. You can obviously move it if you want by single tapping it. So like, let's say I wanted this picture behind the now hiring. I wanted it behind all of the text, then you would go to this button again, and then you would use these three little lines, and you would bring it all the way down to wherever you wanted it. Like you can relocate it behind the text or wherever you want. And then now it's behind. One thing to point out though is that the further you push it back, the least you're going to be able to touch it. So if I'm trying to resize this picture, it's going to be really hard for me to do because I'm going to be tapping everything in front of it. So make sure that it is the size that you want it to be or whatever. And then it's no biggie. If you needed to bring it back forward and you need to fix it, then you can just drag it forward and then it'll bring it right back up on top. If you need to delete it, you can just single tap and then delete and then it'll remove the image. Another thing that's really cool about Over is, like, let's say for some of you who don't have any products on hand, or like for our host to post giveaway, you don't have some of those items on hand. Something that you can do is selecting image. When you scroll all the way to Google, you can look up our products. So I'm going to look up the It Works Keto Coffee like that. And I click search. And it's going to bring up different products for me, or the actual keto coffee. So like I'm going to tap it and it's going to add the keto coffee so that I can edit and just basically use it as my own. A nice example of the stories that you can do like that is, for example, my giveaway post, I added the Apple Watch and the Samsung and the Yeti cup because I don't have some of those items. Another option that I've seen that is really neat is, I'll show you right now, is someone did, I screenshot it because I like to make my own, but this is a good example of how they use the products. They added it into a screen and then they explain what the products did on the side, which I thought was really nice. So that is an option that you can do. Of course, you yellow check mark if you want it there. If you don't, then you can just X out of it, discard changes, and it's going to bring you back to the screen. Most likely it's going to bring you back to the screen. Yeah. It's going to bring you back to the screen if you want to select another image. If you don't, you just press that down and then that's it. If you need to add more text, then you can just press the A button. The graphics section is basically anything extra that you want to add. So for example, this entire template is jungle theme. It has the leaves, it has a pretty background, it actually even has a shape, this rectangle shape. If you add, you can add an extra shape if you want, and then you can edit the color on the bottom. If you want to use something from their own template, the colors will be there. If you were to have been creating one of your own, then you would have you do have the option to press this little button here and it'll automatically allow you to select a color from the background. Something else, of course, that I mentioned was the graphics, which makes Over so convenient, because even if you were to be starting one from scratch, or even if you, which I'll show you when I do one from scratch, just an example, but when you press this button, it allows you to be able to see a whole bunch of different graphics that you can utilize on your story and just make it your own. So some of these can be backgrounds, some of these can just be like letters, some of these can be like, even if I were to, for example, if I was gonna search up a jungle and then all of these come up, these are just single images, and then the folders that they're located in are up top. You can save these to your collecteds as well. Something that you can notice is that each album has a title. So if there is a specific image that you like, for example, this image right here, it says Jungle Park Collection, then I'm going to look for the folder that says Jungle Park Collection, because all of the Jungle Park collections are going to be the same color scheme and the same kind of plants and stuff. So that way I'm not like using a cartoon jungle leaf versus a real vivid jungle leaf kind of thing, which to you some might not be a big deal, but to me, like, I like it to all be the same. So something else you can do is, like, let's say I wanted to see the graphic album that this one was located in. If you hold this down, hold on, it's not gonna let me because someone was trying to call me. Okay, if you hold it down and you press replace, it's gonna then bring you to the album that everything is located in. So all of these images are from the same album. Everything here is jungle related. So I can just replace that leaf if I wanted to. So like, let's say I wanted to do just this leaf right here. I automatically replaced it. If I didn't like it, then I can just undo it. Another thing you can do is you can single tap it and then duplicate it if you wanted to add another leaf somewhere. And that just allows you to have like different options. Now I wanted to show you guys, when you are adding or when you're creating a new one, you just press the plus sign. Some of these are just options that you can use. I never really use them. I always create my own. I select a white background just because sometimes I tend to find some backgrounds that are transparent, and then you'll notice the difference when you're adding it. So I look for the iPhone background, which is that one right here. Press the check mark, and then it will give me a white background. And then under graphics, when you select graphics in the middle, here is where you can basically create your own. You just look for something that you like, something like an album with a picture. So I'm scrolling through here looking for something that catches my eye that I would like. If I don't find anything, I just kind of search. So if I'm not finding anything, for example, let's say I wanted to do I selected an album, and this one has a lot of pretty different backgrounds. So let's say I wanted to do this striped. So then I'm going to zoom in, and then I press the yellow check mark, and then I want to add a shape. And let's say I just wanted to have like borders. Like I wanted to just have this in the center so that way I have something to be able to type. So then I press the yellow check mark. I'm going to add some text. I'm going to put now hiring Boss Babes. You can play around with font. If you press the yellow check mark, it'll automatically be here. The color is always set to white, so I'm going to change that to black right now. And then I can go back to the font area, and then that way I can actually see it on here. So you can see how some of them are stacked like that, and then some of them are like straight like that. So in order to fix that, you just, when you double tap it, it's going to be the same as if you're doing a post on actual Instagram, and you're going to press enter where you want it to break. Sorry, my notifications are going crazy today. And then that way you have an over stack, like that way it's not just all one. So you can mess around with it. Oh my goodness. You can mess around with it according to how you want it. So like, let's say I want it like that. And then you can add pictures, and you can edit, add shapes, add more shapes if you want. And then you just save it by pressing this yellow button up top, and then you'll save to photos, and it'll automatically save. Something cool about Over is that it'll save all of your projects. Give me 1 second, it just kicked me out of the app. Sometimes it has like glitches. So in the project section, it'll save everything that you've done with the app, and that way, or any projects that you've done, so you can always go back. And I find this really convenient because, for example, the July giveaway that I've been doing, I've been using the same exact template, and all I've been doing is just changing the background, and that has allowed me to be able to just use the same thing. I also, for example, like when I created my personal now hiring, I was able to create it for my team. And a way to be able to do that without messing up your own is that you hold this down, you press duplicate, and then it's going to create the same project for you right up top. So that way you can edit without having to mess up your original. And then this is like one that I created myself. If you like the paint streaks, then you just search up paint streaks, and that way you have that. And that's just an option too. For templates, you also have the option to be able to use videos. And in the video section, you can just utilize the ones that are there and then replace what there is. And that's basically it. So hopefully this was helpful for you guys in giving you an example of what Over is capable. I will try to do another video that just specifically talks about videos, because videos can be a little bit more complicated, but I hope that helped.